So guys, with me right here, we have our breeder farm, and this is a 10,000 capacity chicken house. Now, interestingly, if you move around and take a look at most farms that actually have 10,000 birds, most of them will have very many houses. It will literally be an entire huge farm. For us, 10,000 birds at a spacing of 5 birds per square meter, it's actually just one house. That's impressive. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to actually successfully run a poultry farm with 10,000 birds capacity as a genius. Come on, so please stick around. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Daniel, a retired medical doctor with a deep passion for farming. And so if this is your very first time on Farm Up, here at Farm Up, we teach you everything to do with poultry farming, goat farming, cattle, chickens, geese, and we do even way more than that. We have crops around, and we also have bee farming. And of course, we also supply day-old chicks, just in case you want day-old chicks. That's layers for now. So if this is your very first time, come on, subscribe to the channel. On this channel, you learn everything that you need to know concerning these things. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash the notification bell, that way you never miss out on an upload. All right, let's go up our chicken house. This is a food dip, which has a disinfectant to ensure that all disease is prevented, because some people need to enter here to once in a while check out on the birds, clean the drinkers. So while moving up the ramp, thankfully someone told me, I always used to call it a stairway. No, it's a ramp. Very nice, gentle raise to where the chickens are. So while moving up here, you want to make sure that your feet are disinfected. So the one that you saw at the bottom works for the lower door. We also have another one right here. Okay, so if I were going to enter right here, which I'm actually going to do a little later on, I would have to step inside here. And you can see that it's been quite some time since we entered this chicken house. And I showed you guys what's happening here. So I'm going to get inside there, and we'll even again go to the top, and I'll show you guys what's happening at the top right now. Now I'll tell you guys something. I've been raising poultry for quite some time, and there is one thing that I've heard commonly on the market. They say raising chickens is complicated. Doing it in big numbers is hard. And no, that's not it. It shouldn't be so. You see, I know it and I've experienced it. You can actually raise a poultry farm and raise lots of animals without actually having a vet on the farm. I know that because I have lots of friends in different countries, and even in my own country, who do poultry farms without vets. I personally do run poultry farms without vets. And so how is that possible? All you need to do is follow a particular set of principles. There is nothing complicated. Everything can just be written down in a particular order with a checklist. And as long as you just look at that checklist and follow everything to the dot, the way it's supposed to be done, you can run a poultry farm without a problem, even a very big poultry farm like this one, without a problem and without a vet. In fact, even without any prior knowledge and experience in poultry farming, you can manage and run a poultry farm. I'll take you through the basics. This is our layer parent stock chicken house. It's a 10,000 capacity chicken house. That's when you're spacing the birds at 5 birds per square meter. That means if you are keeping commercial layers inside this house, you could actually be able to keep up to 15,000 birds. And if you are keeping broilers, it would be 20,000 broilers you'd keep inside this house. And this area only covers an area of 12 meters by 80 meters. That means on an area of 12 by 80 meters, we've managed to keep 10,000 birds. You can even keep 20,000 birds. Now that's not conventional. That's not common in the poultry world, because there's a set of cram work. There's very little invention. But as long as you invent while keeping the principles at hand, you will succeed as a poultry farmer. Take a look at this. This is a food dip. If I want to enter this chicken house, I just step in here with my gumboots, open the door and get in. Of course, I had my hands washed in before I came here, but this has a disinfectant. Now it looks like something really small, but this could mean the difference between life and death for you if you're to succeed as a poultry farmer. Take a look at this structure. We'll move to the side where it's easier seen. You can see right here, from the top to the bottom, we have maybe 6 meters or 5 meters on the side, and maybe maybe 12 or 10 through the middle, because the roof is really raised. But you can see this spacing right from this point to the very top. All that is ventilation, proper ventilation. With proper ventilation, that simply means we're going to have very, very low risk or occurrence of diseases. Look at the compound, well slashed, properly slashed. You see, there is a fence, and you can see that on the outside end of that compound, it's a bit different. There's a bit more bush, but in the area 30 meters from the chicken house to here, very slashed, very little opportunity for rodents, snakes to move around. All that preserves the farm. It decreases the risk of disease inside the farm. So for you to succeed as a poultry farmer, there are a few principles that you need to follow. The first and most important being biosecurity. That means reduce exposure of disease to the birds as much as possible. Take a bath before you enter the chicken house, you know. Take a bath. Always take a bath before you enter the chicken house. I know it seems quite complicated and quite hard to do. I've never heard that someone has died before because they've taken too many baths. If you want to enter your chicken house 3 times a day, take baths 3 times a day. For us, we've tried to minimize the entry into the chicken house by having different systems, non-conventional systems, but they work. It's not expensive. You see, people look at this house and they think it's very expensive. No, it's not expensive. It was built out of simple materials, you know. Wood. You see the wood. Timber right on the floor. You see where I'm standing. Chicken mesh on the side. Nothing really expensive. Maybe concrete that supports the top floor, but it's quite cheap. Most of the things are manual. We don't have any, I would say, mechanized things inside here. It's simply about using hands, but using your hands very intelligently. These birds, the ones that we have on the lower floor, have been here since May last year. So they have made at least a year on the farm, but they have never had an antibiotic. They have never taken a single antibiotic on the farm. And what's the purpose of a vet? The purpose of a vet is to give the animals antibiotics when they get sick. So since they have never taken an antibiotic, what's the purpose of a vet? No. Of course, we don't need a vet. We would probably need a vet for paperwork, for certification. But for running the farm, certainly we don't need a vet because the birds don't fall sick. Let's move to the feeding area. So we have doors right here. And as you can see, both of them are shut. 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 This is one thing I've noticed with lots of farmers. You go and check out the farm and doors are open. They never lock doors. If you never lock doors, of course, stuff is going to come and get inside. That's going to get you into trouble. So make sure that your doors are always shut. And this is the top. This is the only place where the people who work in this building actually do have access to. Okay? Make sure the door is locked behind you. Always make sure the door is locked. Okay? Or at least shut. And then this is a rail where feed is served. So the guys walk, put the feed in here, and the feed will go down to the birds. You can see the birds right there. The entire bottom, you know, the entire bottom is full of birds right through to the end. Yeah, so we have about how many birds? We have 5,000 birds at the top, 5,000 birds at the bottom. Before the guys come to work here every day, they bathe, they wash their hands, they wear their, you know, their overalls, just like I've worn my overall, my gumboots, disinfected them, and then they start working. You know, put the feed in here. Once in a while, they have to wash the drinkers. You know, that's a drinker right there, where the birds drink water from. And then they will feed the birds, and they will get out. It's quite cool inside here. This is an ingenious way to serve the birds feed, because that ensures that we don't need to move to the bottom, you know. We don't need to move through the bottom. You only move inside there if you must. If there is a problem you're going to be solving. You don't just go there to, you know, take a look. Unless you're a supervisor and you want to supervise the birds, check out exactly how they are doing. You know, check if everything is intact. The feeders are, you know, pouring right into, you know, if you see the pipe, that pipe there, you see the pipe, you make sure it's pouring right into the feeder. You know, sometimes it could get out and it pours on the side. So checking out for things like that, that's when you would need to move inside there. Otherwise, if there's no need to move inside there, you know, you can do a lot of the supervision right from the top here. You move around, take a look at the birds, see how they are feeding, look at the litter, see how intact the litter is. You can see a cock trying to mount a chicken. It has moved away. Yeah, so these are breeders, these are our breeders, and these birds fertilize the eggs And the eggs that we collect from inside here, we go and incubate and we sell as our farm up day old chicks. Let's move inside the unit. I was trying to minimize my entries because the birds, number one, are already laying, so you don't want to stress them out. The good thing it's, in the afternoon, quite late in the afternoon now, and most of them are done laying. I would never have tried to talk if I entered there in the morning, but now I can. Most of them are done laying. Don't disorganize them as much, but you're going to see some of them still laying. But let's get inside and check it out. Moving in, so we disinfect our feet first using a foot dip that has a disinfectant. Open the door and then move in, shut the door behind you. Always make sure the door is shut, that way the birds never move out or anything. And then you can take a look at our birds inside the unit. Lots and lots of birds. You can see these are the males, these are the cocks, the brown ones. These are the cocks, very defensive. You'll notice that most of the birds around me are the cocks. You see, the brown ones, they're the ones mainly around me. And then further away you can see the white ones. It's because the males are very defensive, trying to protect their ladies. And it's okay, it's understandable. They do the mounting. You can take a look at the feeding system again. Right here, the feed falls in right from the top. And inside there, we have our feed. Hello lady, what's up? Say hi to the people. Say hi to my subscribers. Come on, say hi, all of you. Very nice and docile chickens. You see, they wouldn't run away. You can just touch them nicely. Nice and calm and docile. They don't run away. Yeah, it's the males that would run away. The females, no way. And when you're inside here, they make an interesting noise. It's like you're drawing their attention. So they all come around you and they make a very loud noise. So actually I have to carry and get out. You can see our drinking system. Another female here being docile, wanting to be mounted. Again, this is our drinking system. And then right there at the end, you can see our laying boxes where the birds go to lay eggs. This is part of the drinking system. Right here, and you can see the birds, all the birds inside the chicken house. Lots and lots and lots of birds. 5,000 birds in here. We have a good amount of litter to ensure that, you see, it's quite a good amount. I've visited a few farms where you find not even an inch of litter. You see how deep this is? You'll see it from the side. You see how deep that is? Yeah, it's quite deep. This is a good amount of litter to ensure that you don't get diseases like coccidiosis. And this is very comfortable. I'm inside here and I can feel that it is quite calm. It is quite cool. It's very comfortable for the birds. It's not a problem for us. And this is an environment which will ensure that the birds don't get sick and they don't get ill. So guys, yes, that's it. There's nothing complicated around it. I know many of you are thinking, how do you talk about being a successful poultry farmer without talking about the feeding? And I know that that's important, but feeding is one of those things that lots of farmers have focused on, while forgetting about the simple basics of poultry farming. And the most important is biosecurity and running the farm with correct management. Of course, feeding is important. It's all about bringing the cost down. But bringing the cost down is all useless if the birds are going to get sick and they die because you haven't managed them well. So just do the basic things the correct way. Continue watching Farm Up. That way you don't miss out on the best tips. And trust me, even if you don't have lots of experience, and even if you're not a vet, you don't have anyone who is a vet around, you can actually become a successful poultry farmer as long as you follow the simple basics. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Lots of love. Bye-bye.